Hi everyone, it's Lizzie. What I'm going to do today for you is a video about what I did when I went to Paris. So I went to Paris last weekend. We went on the Friday up to London, and then we came Saturday. We went on Eurostar to Paris, and then we came home on the Tuesday. So I had a really good time, really enjoyed it. Loads of walking. I was absolutely exhausted by the time I came back on Tuesday, and then I had work again on the Wednesday, so I was extremely tired. I could have done with the day off, but me being me, I didn't think, and I thought it would be, I'd be fine. And so I was really tired. So we went up to London on the Friday, had a mooch round, went to Covent Garden and down Oxford Street. We had lunch at Planet Hollywood, which is my favourite place in London to eat. We stayed at a hotel called the Euro Hotel. It was really reasonably priced, and I tell you what, the service was absolutely fantastic. I will link it down below if you are travelling to London and you need somewhere to stay. It is really close to King's Cross St Pancras, which is ideal if you're travelling on the Eurostar, or even if you're not. It was just a really nice hotel. I'm dairy intolerant, so when I go to hotels, I do find that they don't always have soy milk in the room with the tea making facilities. But I spoke to one of the ladies on reception, and she just gave me a whole carton of soy milk and said bring it back when I'd finished with it. So I thought that was really good. The choice of breakfast, I'm not a breakfast eating person, but it was like your full English. You could have continental if you wanted to. I had jam on toast, which I do like. And so that was on the Saturday morning. We went to King's Cross St Pancras and got the Eurostar train to Gare du Nord, which is in Paris. The journey was absolutely fine. There was no problems with it. Stuck my headphones on and checked Instagram. And just bits and pieces like that. It was quite relaxing. When we got to Paris, it was raining. It did rain for a fair bit of time, and it was really cold. I'm quite a cold person, so I feel it really easily. And I was cold for the majority of the time I was there. The hotel that we stayed at was called the Moberge Hotel. It was probably one of the worst places that I've ever stayed. My bed bowed in the middle. The ceiling was falling off in the bathroom. The plugs weren't working. There was only one plug socket in my room that actually worked. So when trying to charge my phone and also like my iPad and things like that, it was quite difficult. And I had my partner with me as well, so he wanted to charge his iPad and his phone all at the same time. So we just had to take it in turns and just hope for the best. And it just, I don't know. It's not like when you're at home. It's sort of like, I don't know, thing when I go and stay in London, or even like when I went and stayed in Amsterdam and things like that. Everything is immaculately clean. It is so clean. But I just didn't quite feel that with this hotel. I mean, the staff were really helpful. Mum's room didn't lock, so we had that issue of where do we put her suitcases. So for the majority of the time, her suitcases were in mine and my partner's room. They did try and sort it out for us. Eventually, on the second day, they did sort out another room for my mum to stay in, which was a lot better, but there was still the issue of the plugs. Some were hanging off the wall, so it wasn't fantastic. But it was warm, it was dry, and it did have Wi-Fi. So, if you compare it to sort of, it could have been worse. It could have been freezing cold. It could have been damp. It could have been, but it was somewhere to stay, and we didn't really spend a lot of time in the rooms. So on the Saturday when we got into Paris, we walked to the Louvre Museum. We was going to go in, but the queue was really, really big, so we decided to walk back to the hotel and then try and go on the Sunday. So on the Sunday we did go. We got up quite early and went. We was going to get a bus, but then actually realised that the bus that we needed didn't run on a Sunday after standing there for about 5-10 minutes. So we ended up getting the metro. It is very similar to like our underground system in London, but once again it's not sort of as high tech and things like that as what it is back here in the UK. But it was fine, we got around absolutely fine. So if nobody knows, the Louvre is a museum. It's the world's largest museum. And it's a sort of like a famous landmark in Paris. If you follow me on Instagram, there are a few pictures, or you can Google it. I will link it down in the comments below. And it was exhausting, absolutely exhausting. There was so much walking, there were so many things to look at. I mean, for me personally, don't get me wrong, I like museums, but it wasn't my kind of museum. It was like a lot of sculptures, a lot of artwork, and me personally, I'm just not into that kind of thing. My brother, he is, and he absolutely loved it. I did see the Mona Lisa though. It wasn't as big as what I thought it was going to be. It was sort of an average size sort of painting, but it was really busy. I did get a photo of it, so if you did want to see it, or you can Google it, but it is on my Instagram, which is linked down below. So then after we went to, and also I think it was about €15 to get into the Louvre, which is about £12 to £13, so it's not too bad. Then we went to the Arc de Triomphe, which is another sort of historical monument in Paris. We also then went down the Champs-Élysées, so that is like the shopping strip that is the other side of the Arc de Triomphe. So the Arc de Triomphe is at the western end of Champs-Élysées, and you've got all your shops, so your Louis Vuitton, your Sephora. I did go into Sephora, but I didn't actually buy anything. There was nothing that took my fancy. And there was even an M&S, which I was quite surprised about. I didn't go in there, but there was an M&S, and there was quite a lot of McDonald's. That's really all I ate when I was in Paris, because as I'm dairy intolerant, I did find it quite hard to find things that didn't have butter or didn't have cheese. But it's France, it's gonna have it. So yeah, I just ate McDonald's, which was fine. After we went to the Arc de Triomphe, we went to the Eiffel Tower, which I'm glad I saw it. It was really cold, really, really cold, and it was raining. And by this point, I just had enough. I wanted to go home, sit in the hotel. My legs and my feet were absolutely killing me. I did wear sensible shoes. I wore my Nikes. But yeah, I'm glad I saw it, because I may never ever go back to Paris again. And if I did, I didn't necessarily want to do the same things. We couldn't go up to the very top summit because it was really windy, but I have got a few pictures on my Instagram, so head over there once you've watched this video. And yeah, it was nice to see. I'm glad I've seen it. The only thing that I would say was for me a bit of an issue when going to Paris was the amount of sort of people that were selling the Eiffel Tower like statues. There was loads of people like that around, selling, like saying, "Oh, would you like this? Would you like this?" Quite in your face, which I didn't particularly like. I did feel quite intimidated by that, but that's just me as a person. But other than that, everything else was really, really fine. We went to Disneyland Paris, which I was so excited to do. The last time I went was when I was about 16. I'm now 26, going on 27. So I haven't been for like 10 years. And yeah, I love Disney. I absolutely love it. And we got a coach from outside our hotel, took us to the parks, and then we had a full day in the parks. We had both parks, the Disney Studios and the actual Disneyland park. And we did a little bit of shopping as well with that. And then we got the coach back. So the coach picked us up, I think it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then picked us up at 8 o'clock in the evening. So we did have a jam-packed day, and it was only £76 for each. That was for both parks and the transport there and back. So in all, I don't think that was too bad. The first ride that we went on was the Tower of Terror. It was my idea, but since I hadn't been there for sort of 10 years, I was like, yeah, I totally loved it. When I went on it before. Oh, how wrong I was. I nearly passed out from the G-force, and yeah, I come off and out of the ride and I was trembling. I was so scared. I've never ever experienced anything like it. I mean, maybe I did feel like that when I went 10 years ago, but obviously when you're a bit younger, you don't sort of feel the sort of fear factor, I suppose. Maybe I was a little bit naive then and I was scared, but yeah, I don't know. We went on then next the Aerosmith ride. I didn't like that either. It was really, really fast. And it was dark. I don't like the dark. So most of the time I had my eyes shut on the rides because I just didn't like it. So I'm glad I went. I did enjoy the day as a whole. I was scared most of the day. I didn't go on some of the rides. I did go on It's a Small World, and my partner and my brother were like, what the hell is this? But as I had been on quite fast rides, I thought I deserved to go on It's a Small World. I absolutely love that ride. It is so... I think what the message behind it is, it's a small world. We are all in it together. So we have to, live in this world, etc. But yeah, I loved it. The one ride that I did absolutely love, I did ask my brother and my partner, did this ride go upside down, because most of them do in Disneyland Paris, and was the Indiana Jones ride. And they was like, no, it doesn't go upside down, it doesn't. So I was like, right, okay, I think I can deal with this. It's out in the open, it's not dark, it goes upside down. Just for reference, it does go upside down, and I was absolutely pooping myself, but I did go on it again, so obviously I liked it to a certain extent. Waiting times for the rides, Indiana Jones was the shortest. It was only about 10 minutes that we was waiting, but Space Mountain, it's not called Space Mountain anymore. It's something like Star Wars Super Space Mountain or something like that. That was an hour wait, and the Finding Nemo ride was also an hour's wait. But once again, Space Mountain, I felt so secure I could not breathe because I had pulled it down so tight, but I didn't move. It was brilliant. I did enjoy it. I had my eyes closed because it was in the dark, so I didn't see a lot. Couldn't tell you really what was in there, but yeah, it was a really, really good ride. And then on the we went to Casey's, which is a hot dog restaurant in Disneyland Paris, and that's down Main Street, USA. Oh my god, it was the best hot dog I have ever had. It was so nice. The chips weren't all that, so if you are going to go to Disneyland Paris, get the hot dog, not necessarily the chips. for 3 of us. So we had hot dog and chips 3 times and 3 drinks, and it came to about €45. So it was quite expensive, but you do sort of expect it when you go to parks. Well, like especially like Disneyland. I also bought, when we went to Disneyland, this pen. How cute is that? It says on it, Disneyland Resorts Paris, and it's just a normal ballpoint pen, as you can see, and it's got a little bow, so it looks like Minnie Mouse, which I thought was really cute. And I also got this keyring. It has got an E, and it's got Mickey on it, and it's got just a leather sort of strap, and you've got your keyring ring on there. The pen was about €7, so it was quite expensive, but I thought, you know what, I'm in Disney, I'm going to get a pen. I like pens. And I think the keyring as well was about the same price. Other than that, I didn't really buy anything. I did buy a magazine when we was at the train station on the way home, an In the Style magazine, but it was the US edition. There was so much information in there, like about different beauty products and things like that, which I really enjoyed, and it kept me occupied on the way home. So all in all, I had a really, really good time. Would I go back to Paris again? Possibly, but not for a little while. I feel like I've exhausted that holiday. I really wanted to go to the Notre Dame Cathedral and the Sacre-Cœur, which is where all the artists do their painting and stuff. And I believe that is a cathedral as well. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. But I would definitely go back to Disneyland Paris. We did watch the parade. If you head over to my Instagram, there's pictures that I took while I was in Disney, and while I was out in Paris. So yeah, that is my video for this week. If you are new, thank you for watching, and don't forget to click subscribe. And any questions or any comments, pop them down in the comments box, and also I'll link everything that I mentioned down in the comment below for you. So if you did want to stay at any of the hotels, or have a look at the reviews, or find out where I bought my tickets for like the different bits and pieces, yeah, it'll be down there. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.